Good evening, friends. Hello, hello. What's going on? What's up, R. Dominic? Hoink, Bacon Copter, Naren, Manic. Hi, everybody. Happy, oh, I guess it's Monday, isn't it? Time has lost all meaning for me while I'm on vacation. I don't have my work or kids' school to kind of pace myself here, so. Naren, I've already made the change, so y'all will be graced with that soon enough. Oh no, you slept so much. Oh no, what a horrible condition to be afflicted with. How tragic that must be, to be well rested. A+ stream title, thank you. Thank you. I thought of that the very same day I realized we need to do like a retrospective stream. And so I was like, there really is no more perfect title than this. Haven't been able to sleep properly for days. I'm sorry to hear that. Quite sick. Oof, dude, take care of yourself. Slept so much you shouldn't be yawning now, but you are. I see. Well, have cats to make sure you never get decent night's sleep. I do miss having cats, but I don't miss that part of it. But I had a good day. I had quite a fine little day. My girls were out at a friend's house all day, and my wife was working from home. I had plenty of time, noodle around, play some games. I'm making decent headway in Titan Quest. I beat the base game on the middle difficulty, so that's something. Manic, thank you so much for subscribing for 13 months, dude. I really appreciate that. Oh, I started something new over the weekend. Something that I saw in the week-longs before the big sale that I had totally forgotten to play. The second super hot game, Mind Control Delete. I went into that knowing absolutely nothing about it because I had forgotten that game even existed, and it's really cool. I am enjoying it a lot. It's all the fun of the original Super Hot, but in a very different structure. I like it. Have to play through that still? You definitely should, Cragger. If you like the original Super Hot, I think Mind Control Delete is a really good expansion on it. And right away, they give you some new stuff to do in it, too. Some new stuff and some new challenges. They change up the enemies in a really interesting way. Yeah, it's been good. I hope to review it sometime soon. I don't know how long it is. It seems like it could be pretty long, but we'll see. Yay, only a little late. You made it, Loger High. So good to see you. So glad you made it. Not that you really have to rush for tonight. Tonight, as y'all know, is very, very special. Tonight is, as I've been saying for like the past week, the 6-year anniversary of Gold Play Games as an entity. You can see it right here, right? God, I have the worst time pointing in relation to my face cam. I should probably practice that more often. But as you can see down here, fuck it, I'll just use the cursor. December 27th, 2015 was the day I incorporated gold-plated games as curator page on Steam. And that is what I consider the official start of this whole enterprise. Incorporated, yes. Sounds like an addiction. Maybe you need to taper off. What's up, bestie? But yes, so let's go over what we're gonna do tonight, specifically, and then we'll get started. I wanted to do a just chatting stream for once. We've never actually done that. We've always had some kind of video games to play, even if it was like rummaging through a bin of game jam experiments or something. We've always had something to play, but not tonight. I am playing nothing tonight. It's gonna be this for the whole evening. I wanted to start off for folks here that are newer to gold-plated games, who maybe have only seen my streams and aren't really familiar with the other stuff that I do or have done. What's up, Smokey? What's up, Satellite? Glad you guys are here. do a brief recap of the history of gold-plated game, how I got here, why I'm here, who I am, how I am, why I am. And then after that, the bulk of the evening, you see here where it says 865 reviews posted. It's actually more than that. It's closer to 900. We're going to go back to the very beginning, and we're going to do like a cursory tour of reviews, because honestly, I've reviewed so many games at this point, I don't even remember them all. And I think it'll be kind of fun to go back through them, talk about them. A lot of them y'all might not even be aware of. Talk about the process of reviewing them, the mindset that went into it, the events that surrounded it, because some of my reviews were kind of landmark moments in my life for one reason or another. Some of them from 2016, 2017, I still remember very, very clearly because of the circumstances that surrounded them. Dragon Quest Builders 2 streams were almost just chatting streams. They were in large part. Yeah, that's true. They were just chatting streams with a very cute game happening in the background. What's up, Eva? So yeah, that's going to be most of what we do. I'm going to take some little breaks as we go through the reviews to talk about the other big topic that I mentioned. And I announced those on Discord. And there are things about the schedule. There are things about the future of the channel. I'm gonna open up a vote for our next what we're gonna do after Final Fantasy Legend 3 in a little bit. Not right now, but shortly. And some other stuff. Might be some other announcements and notifications and such and forthwith to do. So I think it should be good. I'm really happy about this because there's actually no obligation for me to do anything tonight. Believe it or not, I actually do feel the tiniest bit of pressure whenever we're playing a video game to actually accomplish something. Mainly during full playthroughs, but even when we do like indie variety nights and the power hours. There's just a little thought in the back of my head where it's like, hey, don't completely fuck up. Don't totally screw this up. I mean, I know y'all would enjoy that on some level, but still that voice is always there, and this is kind of like the first night where there's just none of that. There's just nothing there. It's just a blank canvas, a sprawling void, which is probably what most of you assume my mind was like to begin with. But no, only on nights like tonight is that actually true. Great concern is whatever the announcement about stream schedules is. Well, you know what? I can go ahead and announce that because that's probably the most important thing I'm going to announce tonight. And it's something that I can easily remind people of throughout the evening because there's no discussion on this. It's just something that I'm doing, and it's I like to think of it as a gift to all of you and myself. Maybe I should have announced it on Christmas, but I didn't. Anyway, starting in 2022, this Saturday, our January 2nd stream, I'm gonna be moving all of my streams back 1 hour. All of my streams will start at 9 p.m. Pacific instead of 10. I've been talking to my wife about this for a while because I know it's been hard for a lot of people to stay up that late to even catch part of my streams. As I've been getting older, it's been getting harder for me to stay up that late to stream. And I mean, I even have the metrics to back it up. I actually saw a significant dip in viewership when the times changed back in, what, November? So, yeah. That's my big schedule announcement. Starting this Saturday, January 2nd, all streams will start at 9 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. Starting and ending an hour earlier, yes. I'm sorry, January 1st. I get so confused about New Year's. Because I don't stream on New Year's Eve. I guess that's another thing I haven't mentioned yet. I'm not streaming December 31st because my family stays up for New Year's and I want to be there with them. So no stream this Friday. Stream on Saturday, the 1st, January 1st. Thank you for the correction. That one will be our first stream to start at 9 p.m. Pacific instead. And I will update I'll update the schedule and the clock and the timers and everything. I'll take care of everything. Yeah, it confuses me because like New Year's is January 1st, but all the stuff you do for New Year's is on December 31st. So yeah, anyway, that's that big announcement. So remind me to remind people as we move through the evening. Also, hello Peach, glad you're here. Bacon Copter, good to see both of you. You made it just in time for the first big announcement of the evening. With that out of the way, I think I'll go ahead and launch into a quick history lesson on GPG, and then we can get into the meat of tonight's stream, which is going to be a review of reviews. Crack the sparkling cider to celebrate. Cheers, Peach. Happy to hear it. We eat pork every year on New Year's for good luck. We do noodles on New Year's. Maybe I should do that. We usually do noodles. Yeah, that's a Japanese thing to do. Please know there will be a quiz at the end of this lecture. Ordered a spiral ham, nice. Assuming this will also be posted in the Discord for those. Yes, anything important that I announced tonight, the vote, the schedule change. I already posted the discussion topic. That's been in feedback. We'll talk about that later tonight. But yeah, anything important from tonight will go into Discord itself. So, hello, Nemrin, good to see you. So, as I've thoroughly belabored this point, I founded the Gold Plated Games curation page on Steam back on December 27th, 2015. That was not the start of me doing reviews, actually. I got started doing reviews in the strangest way. And let me show you, because it was a specific game, actually. It was a hidden object game, of all things. Way back in 2013. Ignore this release date. I think whoever owns the rights to this got bought out and they relisted it as part of a bundle or something. This game is ancient. What's up, Not a Roguelike? Thank you, much appreciated. We're just now getting into the history lesson, for those who don't know. Way back in 2013, I started playing this game on a lark. I had never played a hidden object game before, and the folks in the Steam thread on Something Awful, which used to be where I spent my entire online life, I think had been talking up hidden object games and stuff that they really liked. So I was like, well, I have this one from some indie bundle that I got somewhere. Why don't I give it a try? And as I was playing through it, I was posting impressions of it in the Steam thread, which sparked a small discussion about it, because I think most people were unaware of it. And I was like, huh, okay, that's pretty cool. It was a good thread back then. It was. It really was. Where Mahog Crew at? I haven't really played a hidden object game in a long time. In fact, I think the last time I might have played one was when I streamed a tiny bit of Infected the Twin Vaccine. One of the few hidden object games to no longer be listed on Steam or available anywhere as far as I know. Game Artifact. Do you see something that says Game Artifact? Time to return to the channel roots, perhaps. Does Cats in Time count? You know what? I would say so. The hidden objects just tend to be cats. I kind of feel like games like The Room and House of Da Vinci and Cats in Time are sort of an evolution of the hidden object genre, because you are looking for like hidden stuff, but it's more tactile. I think they probably evolved out of hidden objects with the advent of mobile gaming and a lot more games being made for touchscreens, because then you could you could drag and pinch and stuff. The Room is like a hog with fun puzzles. Yeah, it's in the description. Think carefully before you play this Game Artifact. Oh lord. creative writing there. Was it not listed anymore? Did do a naughty? I don't know. I don't know what happened to Infected. Sometimes games disappear when their publishers do. And nobody snaps up the rights before they vanish into the ether. So, beats me. Other three commenters, artists, please take your opinions elsewhere. That has happened, yes. That did happen in my long and storied history of reviewing games. Anyway, so I posted, not a review, but impressions of this. People responded. I was like, oh, okay, that's neat. Whatever. You might also notice, I never actually, Actually, it doesn't even recognize that I own this game. So it really was completely relisted with a different ID and everything. So I never wrote a formal review of this game. In fact, but it made me think, you know, this is kind of fun. And at the time, I was sort of casting about creatively. I've always wanted to make stuff, but I've never had a very clear view on what it is that I wanted to make. In school, I did a lot of creative writing. I used to be relatively good at art. But I fell off of that somewhere in high school. I regrettably stopped pursuing it. But I did drama classes, and I would do school plays, and I've never had any musical talent. I don't think that's going to come as a surprise to anyone. But I've always kind of tinkered around with other stuff. When I was living in Japan, I was determined that I was going to start making indie games, and I studied programming. Gnarl can back me up on this, because he actually did the music for one of my projects. I made my own little version of Tetris with a crayon aesthetic. I actually hand drew all the pieces and backgrounds and everything in crayon and scanned them. Yeah, you do remember that, don't you? But it never went any further than that. I could imitate things in code, but I couldn't come up with my own code. And then back in the early 20-teens, I was still trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do. Being an editor, I did try creative writing. I did National Novel Writing Month one time back in, God, I want to say it was 2014. It was 2012 or 2014. I can't remember which. I actually finished it. I actually finished it on time. Somewhere around here, I've told y'all this before. Somewhere around here, I have a 50,000 word manuscript for a Western horror novel. The concept was cowboys versus Cthulhu. And I don't know if I'll ever do anything with that, but it exists. So I would love to go through and edit that someday. That's literally a story for another time. So 2013, I was in a place where I needed some kind of creative outlet. I was spending a lot of time playing video games, but not a lot of time creating, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, because writing, I could do writing, but I wasn't really attached to writing. But getting my thoughts out about video games seemed to fit pretty well. So I think, let me think about this. I don't remember the timeline exactly anymore. What's up, Sarah? Make a game and then disperse the pages of the manuscript inside the game. That's a good idea. That would certainly work. It was either 2013 or 2014. I got this wild idea. I'd been doing a few scattered reviews here and there. I got this wild idea. I had all these horror and Halloween themed games that I was too skittish to play, and I needed some kind of impetus to get through them. So I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll pick 31 of these games, and I'll do like really quick, like 1-paragraph reviews of all of them. My dumbass, unfortunately, didn't resolve to do this until I think October 10th of that year. So I had some catching up to do. I had to double up a couple times. But that was the beginning of my first seasonal review series. The very first Spooktober that I did. And we will see some of those reviews, because the fall, it must have been 2014 that I did that. It must have been 2014 that I did that. Because the next year, I uploaded all of those reviews, and then I started a new Spooktober for 2015, and then during that, I was mainly posting all of these in the Steam thread, on the Something Awful forums. The Steam thread and the horror games thread is where I was doing this, and people really enjoyed it. I got a lot of good feedback, a lot of good discussion about the games, and I think after the second one in 2015, somebody was like, you should make a curator page on Steam so that I can follow you and, have all these games cataloged in one place. And I was like, that's a great idea. And that was the origin of our Steam curator page. Some rando, actually it might have been one of you, I don't even remember at this point, suggested I make a Steam curator page for all my Spooktober reviews. There it was. So once I did that, there was a sort of structure to it that I could adhere to. After that, I started doing more one-off. I'm just gonna say it was me for clout. Can't argue with that. The original Halloween countdown, yes. Also from the days the curator system was somewhat new and somewhat intriguing, yes. If there are a lot of parts of Steam that have withered and died on the vine, the curator system was chief among them, I think. I'm a rando, I've decided it was me. We are all Spartacus tonight. So yeah, from that point on, it was off to the races. I was doing random reviews periodically. Spooktober became a thing. We'll have to get to the actual reviews before I can remember, but I started introducing other seasonal review series. The 12 Days of Roguemas around Christmas, Platform February in February. I did a bunch of different series for the spring and summer, but the three constants were Spooktober, Roguemas, and Platform February. Yes, an adventure game one. I think that was April Ventures one year. We'll see them all. Well, you know what? We might as well get into the reviews and just roll back to the beginning, because that's the origin of gold-plated games. A year or two into that, I formed the website, which is linked below if you've never been there. And I started basing all my operations out of the website. I got really big on reviews. I was doing like 150 to 200 reviews a year, which is why I have close to 900 now. I was pushing myself super hard, and then back in 2018, there were a couple YouTubers and streamers that I was really enjoying. I was getting more and more into Twitch, and I started thinking, maybe this is something that I could do. Maybe I could start streaming the stuff that I'm reviewing, and that's exactly what happened. I started streaming games that I wanted to review, and our community on Twitch just kind of blossomed out of that. And now it's my primary focus. I don't ever want to move fully away from reviews, but I've definitely found streaming to be the really, really gratifying part of it. Your recommended curator for you because of all the roguey boys you played. First stream I was here for was some kind of roguish mix that you saw you post about on Something Awful. I think I streamed the last Roguemas that I did, if I remember correctly. Also grew a sweet beard at one point. That is true. So we're going to roll all the way back to the beginning here. I did have a thought today to actually go back on the YouTube channel and go through some old streams with y'all, but I think I'll actually save that for the channel anniversary, for our 4-year anniversary this summer. I think that could be pretty fun. Your last Roguemas, I gave you my heart. Have you ever played Rogue or NetHack? Rogue, no. I have played NetHack. The roguelike that actually got me into roguelikes was Ivan, of all things. I remember reading about that on, I guess I read about it on Something Awful, and people were saying like it was just a brief discussion of like how insanely chaotic it was, and I downloaded and I played and I fucking loved it. I love how every single run was just a brand new train wreck. How I was I adored how many ways things could go wrong. And I think to this day, a lot of my favorite roguelikes still kind of build off of that. Spelunky, chief among them. One of the most appealing parts of Spelunky to me is just the absolute litany of ways things can go wrong. Like if you throw a rock in the wrong direction, you'll end up impaled on spikes and like the half of the level destroyed. It's great. Invisible Ink, I think, is also has that to a degree, because you can plan things out as carefully as you want, as carefully as you can, and then one guard in the wrong place at the wrong time blows all of that to hell, and you have to start improvising. And that's when the game gets really interesting. When the alarm level goes through the roof, and the guards know where you are, and they're closing in on you, and you got to figure out how to salvage that situation. So I think that's the big appeal. That's always been the big appeal of roguelikes. I'll try any roguelike. It's a genre that I greatly appreciate, but I think my favorites are always going to be the ones where things just spiral out of control hilarious. First roguelike was Dungeons of Dreadmore. That was definitely an early one for me, and I think it was an early one for a lot of people. Definitely one of your favorite parts of CUD. Yeah, I can see that. Dreadmore is good. Yeah, it's a shame that company folded. They bit off way more than they could chew with their second game. I think yours is Zuna. So yeah. Anyway, so going way back to the beginning, there were a couple of reviews that I did before I got into the whole like official reviewing thing, and Steam does a funny thing, because this Far Cry 2 review is from 2011, because I love Far Cry 2. Far Cry 2 is my favorite Far Cry. Don't have. But I edited this one in 2018, but it stays. What Steam does, when you post a review, the initial posting date of that review it's set in stone. It's permanent. It will never be changed. If you edit that review, if you delete that review and post a new one, it will still have that first date as its initial posting date. Cheers, two hit. And the reason for that is because when you go to look at reviews on Steam, you know, it does the thing where it's like most helpful reviews in the past 30 days, most helpful reviews in the past 90 days, is to prevent people from gaming that system. Is to prevent people from deleting the review and reposting it and getting bots or sock puppet accounts to rate it back up so that it can stay at the top and be a sort of one-man review bomb. Like if you really want to have, if you want the top review for a game you absolutely hate to be a negative review, you would be able to do that. One of my favorite ones for a long time was One Way Heroics. I think I did One Way Heroics for the very first Rogue Myth, actually. I like that one too. Gin and Crayon Raspberry Juice, pretty good. That's should edit your reviews with future predictions. Look like the next Nostradamus. So yeah, I posted a Far Cry review back in 2011. I redid it when I did my first-person shooter seasonal review series back in 2018, but obviously this one fell down here. Teleglitch, I think, might have been my first real review that I posted on Steam back in October of 2013. Teleglitch was, I think, maybe on Steam was my first big roguelite and one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely adore this game. I was really impressed how well it managed to ape the Quake 1 style, but from like a top-down, super pixely perspective, and also turn it into surprisingly effective survival horror too. Enjoying some grog. I don't think I've ever had grog. Probably an experience I should experience some. But yeah, I went back and redid this one in 2017. I had an initiative for a while where I was going back to any review posted 2015 or earlier, and I was rewriting them because my review style didn't really solidify until I think 2016. I don't know if any of y'all have noticed this, but the vast majority of my reviews are 6 paragraphs. And I can point this out later. This one's 5, I can't do it this one. But there's an intro paragraph where I have a seeming non sequitur, and then I tie it into the game somehow. The second paragraph is a colorful summary of the game. The third paragraph is a colorful summary of the game story. The third paragraph is always, usually, I should say, a rundown of the game's structure. The fourth paragraph is what I like about that. The fifth paragraph is what I don't like about that, or more stuff that I do like about it if I really like about it, and the sixth paragraph is the wrap-up. I have a formula for it. You write 900 reviews, you end up with a formula for what you're doing, okay? Dumb question here, falls in the category of just making sure you're moving the time of the streams back an hour cooler. It's going to be 3 hours. Yes they are. They're going to be from 9 p.m. Pacific to midnight Pacific. Same span, just moving back an hour. Those of you that remember the earlier days of streams might recall that I used to go later a lot more frequently. This also opens the door to being able to do that again, potentially, if I'm not too much of an old man. I don't do 2 takes, amateurs like you do 2 takes. Thus my 1-2-6 Oddish review reading scheme. I think I probably instinctively skip to the part where Oddish complains about a thing and then see if it bothers me too. I mean, whatever way, I have always felt that reviews should be taken in whatever way is most useful to the reader. My reviews are just me putting my opinion out. It's the same as me, like, sitting down with you at lunch and just chatting and being like, oh, hey, I played Teleglitch the other night. It was super cool. Here's why it was super cool. Here's a couple things I didn't like about it. I think you would like it. And my friend might take that information and be like, oh, that does sound cool. I'll look into it. Or, actually, that stuff doesn't sound so good. I think I'll probably stay away from it. But, you know, either way, it's important information. It's useful information that I was able to share. Always laid out very clearly, which is nice. Well, thank you, Peach. I really appreciate that. I think being an English major and also doing this for so long, I can't help but feel the urge to make reviews like more flowery, more poetic, more academic sounding, use all those SAT words I studied decades ago, you know, like really pretty them up. But I try to tamp that down as much as possible because I want my reviews to be useful. I feel like that is, like, reviews should, above all else, more than anything else, should be useful. Like, if it does, like, it, more important than sounding good, being structured well, I mean, all that is important to reviews being readable and approachable, but at their absolute core, they have to be useful. Tell me about the game. Don't tell me about yourself, tell me about the game. Later, if you want to tell me about yourself in regards to how you felt about the game, sure. But I want to know what it is that I'm getting into. Oh, hey, Gnarl, I'm a huge fan of classic Doom and Quake, the latter particularly because of its unique atmosphere. that pretty much is how a lot of our conversations went back in the day. Would you say my review of Dark Souls 3 was useful? I said it was at least the 3rd best Souls-like game. Yeah, that counts. That definitely counts. Ooh, maple shortbread bars. I was throwing shade at Tim Rogers. I can't help who I throw shade at. Alright, what's next on here? Gone Home. Gone Home. Yeah, I originally posted a short review of Gone Home in 2013, and then I returned to it August of 2017. What was that? Summer Ventures. That was it. I did a summer review series about adventure games. And that was the 2017 series, and that's when I reviewed Gone Home again. That was it. I love Gone Home. I think Gone Home is fantastic. I know there's a lot of mixed opinions about Gone Home. I know some people, at least back at the time, felt like it was a bait and switch because of the way it's structured. I thought it was brilliant. Gone Home kind of juggles a couple different themes and a couple different feels to it until the very, very end, where it just kind of lays everything out. And I feel like that makes it a much more effective experience, because that mystery is always there with you. This also might be a me thing. I generally don't mind when games switch things up on me, and it might be because I'm such a moody gamer and I get bored so easily. I felt the same way about The Messenger. I know The Messenger is a very contentious game because it basically switches genres halfway through. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think it's brilliant. But I also totally understand that it doesn't work for some people. So. Yes, they kind of marketed it as horror. They do use horror trappings and a horror atmosphere, and I think that adds something to the game. I'm not going to argue with anybody who was disappointed in the way that Gone Home turned out because they got into it thinking it was a horror game. I didn't know anything about it going in, so that mix, that mysterious combination of things happening really worked for me. But yes, if you had Gone Home sold to you as a horror game, I could understand being a bit disappointed where it goes. So, Story of the Father and Gone Home still sticks with me. Yes, that one. If anything, that one only becomes more and more poignant as I get older. I like how the scariest part wasn't the jump scare. Yeah, it's really, really well done. Also, you got to give Gone Home props for exploring the themes that it did when that wasn't really a very common thing to do in gaming. I can't help but think it helped pave the way for the vast array of representation that we have now in gaming, at least in part. Shadow Warrior, I guess. Okay, so I originally posted an impression of Shadow Warrior March 9th, 2014, and then I edited it for my first-person shooter review series. This one, we talked about this one the other night, but just a remarkably good revival of this franchise, and a remarkably emotional story to go along with it. Good Shadow Warrior. This is the good one. Yeah. Not the old one. I've never reviewed the old one. I'm never going to review the old one. I feel like it would just be too awkward and too loaded to really talk about. Was chat? One of the main games that used the Transformers song around that time. Oh god, it did, didn't it? The only complaint that I have about this Shadow Warrior is that the levels are too long. They are so goddamn long. Every single one of them lasts like 5 to 10 minutes longer than it should. It's not the worst about that. We will get to another one that I really want to point out. What's up, Shadows? How's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're going through some of my earliest reviews from way back in 2014. Yeah, review the surprisingly good Shadow Warrior reboot. Also, for Shadows and anyone else who happened to come in recently, I have a big announcement regarding stream schedules in 2022. Starting this Saturday, January 1st, I'm pulling all of our streams back an hour. Instead of going 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., they're going to go 9 p.m. to midnight, which should make it easier for folks to stay up for them and easier for me to stay up for them. Rough day for you, but you're doing okay? Well, I'm glad you're doing better, and I'm glad you can be here and hang out with us for this. And of course, Invisible Ink. after I played Invisible Ink the first time, I mean, I had 40 hours in this by the time I reviewed it. After I played through Invisible Ink, I had to write a review of it. Yeah, that was back in 2015. But yeah, this is... Yeah, I guess this is still my favorite game of all time. I still look back on my memories of Invisible Ink more fondly than I think anything else that I've done. Game. I'm gonna start playing Hand of Fate 2 again later. I can't believe that company folded too. Oh, I didn't know that. That is the turn-based tactics stealth game, yes. Go to the store page. Yeah, it's really stylish. Yeah. Turn-based roguelike espionage game to play. I love this game so much. I was obsessed with this game when it came out. I gotta be honest though. After I streamed it, I know I streamed this for a birthday stream or an anniversary stream at some point. I went back to it to play through the DLC, and I gotta be honest. I don't think the DLC is an improvement. I think if you're gonna play Invisible Ink, you should just play the base game. I feel like the base game was kind of balanced perfectly, whereas the DLC kind of stretches it out further than it needed. So I should probably write that up as a review sometime. I have not reviewed the DLC yet. I've tried to play through the DLC twice, and both times I tapped out because I was getting tired of it. It was running too long for me. So yeah, that is something that I need to do. I need to go back to it long enough. Wow. Yeah. Not the first person you've heard say that. Invisible Ink was the game that reminded me I hate stealth. Unfortunately, it seems awesome if you like it. Yes. As much as I love Invisible Ink, as much as I want everyone in the world to love Invisible Ink, I know it's not for everyone. It is not for people who don't enjoy stealth, and it is not for people who don't enjoy timers. Because its timer is absolutely essential to the experience. And if you do not like the pressure of timers, holy shit, that game is going to stress you the fuck out. Yeah, it's 99% stealth. Yeah, absolutely. This is the internet? Am I trying to be too reasonable on the internet, Manic? People aren't allowed to have dissenting opinions. Oh, believe me, I know. I've been posting public reviews on Steam, the cesspool of the gaming world, for 6 years. Believe me, tons of people have told me I'm not allowed to have opinion. Hate timers will work for you, Invisible Ink. Yeah, it can definitely work for people. I think I was one of those people. I used to hate timers, and then I think games like Invisible Ink helped me get past that. That's not going to happen for everybody, of course, but you know how it goes. Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is definitely in my top games of all time. I've played the shit out of this game. My claim to fame. Those of you that have played Darkest Dungeon, I hope you'll appreciate this. This was before any of the DLC. I beat Darkest Dungeon on the normal difficulty in 70 weeks with no party wipes and no retreats. I never retreated from a mission. So I've always kind of hated the Crimson Court DLC because it blew up that achievement for me. Because you have to retreat from the Crimson Court mission. But it's still there. It's still there. If you look at my Darkest Dungeon achievements, the achievement, my achievement for beating the game on the original difficulty predates the achievement you get from retreating from battle. Blood Moon, Torchless, and Aquarian only. Someday Someday I want to get a grip on Blood Moon. I've tried it, and I'm convinced I can handle the base game. I can't handle Crimson Court. Crimson Court. I need to learn how to do Crimson Court before I try it on Blood Moon. I've never come to grips with that one. Timers are neither good nor bad intrinsically. A lot depends on how you implement and balance them. Totally agree. Yes, absolutely agree. Timers, there is nothing intrinsically wrong with timers in a video. But it's all in how they're used. I mean, you know, extrapolate this. You can say that about pretty much any video game mechanic. But timers are a particularly contentious one, and I think there are a lot of people out there who just hate all timers. And I can't understand that because they're almost always a source of pressure. And I think it's that pressure specifically that people don't like. Didn't have an opinion on timers until I watched a video and then found out it's 7 days to live. Yeah. Someday I'll have the time to return to Darkest Dungeon and work it out. I like fucking around too much to enjoy time. That's another thing. Not everybody wants to be operating on constraints in a game. Some people, you know, they just want to experience the game at their own pace. All right, Dead Knot. How many of you have heard of Dead Knot? Sweet Bliss Sadako, you don't have to wait the 7 days. Has anyone here heard of Dead Knot? Dead Knot is a really interesting game that I'm not going to recommend you play, but I'm going to tell you about it. Oh, you can't. Ah, shit. That's right. I have it all zoomed in. Okay, we'll do it like that. I set up a special OBS scene for this, so all the text wouldn't be like super microscopic. Anyway, Dead Knot is from the folks who made Safe House Diaries, the old indie zombie survival horror thing. And this was a game where you commanded basically like Space Marines, but like really junky low rent Space Marines through a very limited interface as they explored derelict ships. Now you gotta understand, this came out in 2014, long before this concept, both the concept of exploring derelict spaceships and this sort of limited interface were commonplace. So this game had huge novelty appeal for me, and the atmosphere that it creates is just mwah, because everything you see here, everything you see happening is just icon on what looks like a submarine screen, you know. And it's got the aliens like vital readouts of your team members. You equip them, you give them different loadouts, and like that's kind of one of the places where the game falls apart, because there are different kinds of weapons and damage types, and the things you run into on the ships are vulnerable or immune to different types, so you can just kind of be randomly screwed. But yeah, it's a very interesting roguelike that unfortunately doesn't work as well as I would like it to, but just the atmosphere of it. Atmosphere is a huge thing for me. I can be greatly sold on a game just by its atmosphere, and I love the feel of this one. There were other games later on that captured a similar feel, like Capsule, if you've ever heard of that one, where you're in a space capsule and you're experiencing everything just through an old CRT monitor. But unfortunately, the gameplay in this one just kind of falls apart. It's too hard to manage. They did. I saw that. They, well, these people, Screwfly Studios, they made Safe House Diaries, they made Dead Knot. They made another really neat game in the Dead Knot, kind of in the Dead Knot theme, called Fear Equation, where you're managing people on a train that is like trying to outrun living nightmares. This game always sounded really cool. I wasn't ever really willing to give it a chance because of my experience with Dead Knot, but I probably should at some point. I probably should check it out. But then they made a second Safe House Diaries, and now they're working on another game in the Dead Knot universe setting. So yeah, really interesting developers. You know, just based on my experience, the gameplay isn't quite there, but the concepts and the atmosphere really seem to shine. But yeah, Dead Knot was a very early game where I was like, I have to review. I played it, and I have very complicated and mixed thoughts about this. I have to review this. That was back in August of 2015. Similar to Amazing Cultivation Simulator, just Steam is just vomiting up whatever it thinks you might want to hear. Outland. Outland was an Xbox Live Arcade game ages ago. Like, God, like, what, 2010, 2011? Like, way back. And then they brought it over to Steam. I reviewed this in August of 2015. Pretty neat. Visually, a pretty neat Metroidvania. Mechanically, it has like one cool gimmick where it basically borrows the Ikaruga trick, where you can be one of two colors, and if you're red, you absorb red damage, but you take damage from blue stuff, and then the opposite. So they basically took Ikaruga and they made it a roughly like Incan Mayan themed Metroidvania. Neat game, but very straightforward. Very straightforward for what it was. It was great, very underrated game. I feel like it's underrated because it's so simple. Like, it has a neat gimmick. It does everything that a Metroidvania needs to, but there's not... I felt like there weren't any real, like, standout parts to it. So, I had honestly forgotten that I reviewed it until I saw it. Just one reason we're going through these. Oh, fuck. Super Toy Cars. This was one of my earliest disappointments on Steam. Because Super Toy Cars looked, at the time, like a modern version of Revolt on the Dreamcast. And I was like, and it isn't. It's so bad. This was, so Eva, this was before I had moved into the 6-paragraph format. I didn't really nail that down until I think sometime in 2016. So you might notice, okay, hang on a sec. You might notice some of these reviews. Okay. So my Darkest Dungeon review was originally, oh, you can't see the bottom of this, but you can see this part. My Darkest Dungeon review was originally posted in 2015. I edited it in 2018. Any review of mine on Steam where you see this, did you enjoy this review? I certainly hope so, and I certainly hope you'll check out more of them at my website or on my curation page. Any review that has these is on my website. Does stream barf? I don't think so. Everything looks good on my end. I don't have any drop frames. So this Darkest Dungeon review is on my website. This Dead Knot review is not. Outland review isn't, Super Toy Cars isn't, because there's a front page. Oh, Dave. That is a deep cut, it is. That's because these old reviews don't fit the style that I grew into, and I don't feel like they're very representative of my abilities as a reviewer. I let them stay on Steam because who gives a shit? But for my website, I want to make sure that everything on my website is actually representative of me. So this Super Toy Cars review is going to stay here until I come back to it, expand it into a fuller review, or I did do several mini review collections on my website. This would probably fit pretty well in there because basically all I need to say is it's shit and it's not like Revolt, so don't play it. But yeah, I had a project. Somewhere actually on my computer, I have a text document that lists all the reviews that are still on Steam but not on my website. And I had a project years ago at this point where I was going through and remastering them like one every 2 weeks. But obviously, with as busy as I've gotten and how reviews have kind of given way to streams, that hasn't really happened. Ooh, Out There Somewhere, I love this game. If you don't have this game, if you haven't played this game, it's 49 cents. All right, it's normally $1. It is a cute, clever little puzzle platformer. It'll take you like 45 minutes to finish, but it is really good. I have always really liked this game, and I have always stand for it when we come up in week-long deals or holidays or whatever. But yeah. Great art, great atmosphere, really neat puzzles. Really neat puzzle. It's got some really fun mechanics, because your little dude has like a teleport gun that he teleports around with. Not quite Portal, but similar level of cleverness, at least in a platforming sense. Yeah, but it's 49 cents. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. Ooh, okay. Okay. Let's take a little break here, real quick, to talk about some other stuff. Because this is going to be getting into the first Spooktober series. So let's talk about Dragon Coin, shall we? I told y'all that we were going to be starting a new vote tonight, and we are absolutely going to do that. And in fact, I will open it up for you right now. You should all know what was coming because I announced it, but we're playing Final Fantasy Legend 3 right now, and our next big game has been decided. I got a huge shocker of a surprise on Christmas, and that has determined our next big game. But there's going to be some time in between the end of Final Fantasy Legend 3. I think we'll be done this week. Maybe. And the start of our big game, because I gotta get that set up. And so I just want to know what y'all want to see between now and then. And they're very simple options. Do you want to see more Game Boy games? And if we do Game Boy games, it's probably going to be Metroid 2 and Link's Awakening. Neither one of them is super long, and both of them are super good. So that's probably what we'd end up doing. Do you want to see more retro FPSs? Because I do love retro FPSs. This would definitely be Star Trek Elite 4. I have been sitting on that for a while. I desperately want to stream that. Might be some other retro FPSs in there as well. Or should we just do a bunch of test nights? I have a bunch of games. I have a bunch of games that I've been putting on a list to check out. Stuff like, oh man, Troubleshooter, Gorogoa. There's a builder game on there that I forgot. Hang on, let me check. I don't want to spoil my everything I have. End Zone, A World Apart. Project Wingman, I got that really cool flight sim game. Umurangi Generation. Oh, we still need to do Wooden Ocean. I almost completely forgot about that. Let's see. Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human, Battletech. I want to take a look at Crosscode sometime. Infra. Phantom Doctrine, something we can do. Oh, Pony Island. Pray for the Gods got its full release. So there's a bunch of stuff. There's definitely a bunch of stuff we could do. If y'all feel like you're all in the mood for test nights. But I'm pretty sure, let me see here. How do I do this? Yeah, you can vote for as many options you want. Just one vote per option, please. Since there's only 3 options, that means you can basically vote for any 2 that you want. Wouldn't be much point in voting for 3, but guess I could have just not voted for the same effect. Troubleshooter, one stream should be just about enough to see the first cutscene of the main plot. Check out Still There if you get shot too. Okay. More Gothic. More Gothic. Okay. When we were talking on Discord earlier today, I want to say I really appreciate y'all. Whenever I ask y'all about your opinion on something, like when I'm thinking about changing something about the stream or what kind of games we play or something, y'all are always like, you should do what makes you happy. You should do what you enjoy the most. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that y'all are looking out for me like that. And I want to assure you that that is absolutely what I do. The stuff that I do on this channel, the games that I play, I definitely notice you never said that, Dustin. Don't think I overlooked that factoid. But yes, I want to assure you that that is exactly what I do, and Gothic is a perfect example of that, because I know practically every single one of you wants to see more Gothic, and I'm not gonna do it. Because I was not enjoying Gothic. So yes, don't worry about it. Don't worry. I am always streaming stuff that I want to stream. Yes, you are enjoying me not enjoying Gothic. We have to find... I told y'all this. We have to find a good balance. We have to find something that is janky and bad enough for y'all to enjoy, but not quite so bad that I don't like playing. Gothic was just a little too far over the line. I know y'all were having a great time with it. I wasn't. I was getting pretty bored. So, and yes, this is something that I always consider. You know, I feel like Okami is probably the best example of this we're ever gonna have, where tons of people wanted me to play Okami. I put something like 2 weeks into it, I think, and I just wasn't enjoying it, and that was it for that. So yeah, don't worry. When I give y'all options, when I give y'all like votes, or I want your feedback on Discord or something, it's all on stuff that I want to do to different degrees. So you never need to worry about that. Just didn't look like it played very well. It just wasn't a whole lot going on there. And I get the concept that they were going for. Like, I actually like the idea of being like so incredibly weak and useless as the beginning of your adventure and having to work your way up. It's just the pace of it in Gothic is excruciating. You're saying Ringu is more playable than Gothic? I fucking hate you for putting these words in my mouth, but yes, that is absolutely true. Ringu was more playable than a compromise. Martian Gothic. Sometimes the difference between fun to play and fun to... Yes! Oh my god, yes. Is that ever the case? There are so many games out there that are... that are great games, wonderful games, absolutely magical games that I will never ever stream because they would just be miserable to do so. And like the format of streaming them would suck a lot of the enjoyment out. One thing the example for me is Return of the Obra Dinn. I know that would have made a good stream. I know people would have enjoyed seeing that, but I am so glad I played that one on my own. I feel like I would not have enjoyed Obra Dinn nearly as much if I had streamed it. Death Stranding, I think, is another perfect example. I had seriously considered streaming Death Stranding when I got it so graciously gifted to me. I am very glad I didn't do that. I think it's a great game for me. I think it's a game that I enjoy very, very much. It would not have made for good streams. I streamed Logistical twice. I'm pretty sure that's the least streamable fun game ever. Yeah, there you go. Another stream I watched streamed all of Okami, and she's pretty over it by the time it finally ended. Watch someone try to stream Death Stranding. It's just so the other thing is, I think there are also streamers who can stream these games. I think that there are probably people out there that can make Death Stranding streams work. If I was better at multitasking, if I was better at talking while I was doing something else, I think maybe I could make Death Stranding streams work. Because we love chatting. Look at us. Look at us, chat. Hey, look at us. We're here, chatting up a storm tonight. Just talking away about things. And this is great. I think it's great. The thing is, when I'm playing a game, a lot of my brain power is focused on the game. Because a lot of games, y'all know, a lot of games, not so great at. It takes some brain power to actually focus down on them. So when I'm playing Death Stranding, I'm really focusing on what I'm doing and the paths I need to take and stuff. So if I want to talk in the lulls during gameplay, it's gonna be kind of related to the game, and I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about. I'm not so good at just coming up with random stuff to talk about on the fly. I'm hoping that's a skill that I'm going to develop as I stream more. I do feel better at it now than I did like a couple years ago at least. But that's the kind of skill you need for Death Stranding. You need the ability to entertain chat no matter what is going on the screen. I'm not quite there yet. That's why I'm still kind of particular about the kinds of games that I play. Because I need something that either I can talk about that's happening on the screen, or something that's going to generate conversation in chat that we can talk about. Death Stranding, the story will do that. The story in Death Stranding will do that because it is fuck. It is some peak Kojima shit. But everything that happens in between, all the postman shit, that is not gonna fly. Been playing Demon Crawl and streaming it sounds like hell. I did stream like one night of Demon Crawl. I don't remember it being super impactful. I love that game. I think it's a fantastic game, but yeah, it didn't exactly generate a whole lot of conversation. Ending of Death Stranding would take up an entire stream. Oberdin would suck if any of it was backseated. Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing. And I mean, y'all are good. I've seen other channels where people just will not shut the fuck up about spoilers and advice and stuff. Y'all are generally very good. You get excited sometimes with stuff like Resident Evil. Games where like everybody knows it except me. And you can be very forthcoming with suggestions. But yeah, I don't think, like, even so, even as good as y'all are about that, I think Oberdin would have lost something if I had streamed it. Or Scrabble. Let's not forget that. Seen Oberdin playthroughs, they mostly had to ignore chat, yeah. Got to the guesswork and Oberdin and tapped out. Vessi, I promise you I'm not being a dick when I say this. There is literally no guesswork in Oberdin. And I found this out because I did the same thing. I got to like the last quarter, the last third of the crew, and I basically did a bunch of educated guessing until it all filled in. And then after I was completely done with the game, I went online to see if there was any story stuff I missed. And oh my god, there were so many clues that I missed. I seriously feel like I missed half the game. Like, there is really, genuinely, legitimately no guesswork in Oberdin. And when I realized that, my opinion of that game just was like, I mean, I was already super impressed, but holy shit. That is probably the smartest puzzle game I've ever played in my life. I cannot believe how well constructed that game. Yeah, if it wasn't fun for you, I mean, that's fair, you know. You know, it can be the most clever puzzle game ever created and also not fun. That is definitely a thing that can happen, but yeah. Anyone in chat right now who has not played Oberdin, please play Oberdin. I'm sure it's on sale right now. It is worth full price and then some. I promise you this. I'm sure it's Colonel Mustard. You can't help me with Thicky McThickerson from Thicksville, Can't pronounce shit either. Does it count as spoilers if I don't know either? Well, sometimes I've seen a lot of streamers strict about this, and sometimes it does get to me. Sometimes making suggestions, like guessing, even when chat doesn't know any more about the game than I do, even that can kind of lead my thinking in different directions than I might have gone otherwise. So it depends on the game. Some games I really don't care, like one way or the other, but other games I really value the discovery phase of games. Like one of my favorite parts of playing a game is that learning phase where I learn how everything works and what the game expects of me, and then like reaching that very basic level of competence. And if somebody comes and like lays that all out for me, or kind of does the guesswork for me, yeah, it can impact the experience negatively. Played and I got the bad ending because I missed so much. It was too daunting to go back. It can be a very daunting game, yes. Some of the logic and some of the clues you have to track down are insane. Insanely complicated, but yeah. Also, what's up, Mr. None Ya Business? Good to see you. Glad you can make it out tonight. I just have this huge inertia against playing games not called Wizardry. You know what you should do? I'm gonna make a suggestion to everyone. This is something that I had to do for myself in my darkest times of getting frozen by my backlog, where I would sit down and I would look at my list of my games and I would have no idea what to play, or I would get on one game and I would just play nothing but that game. Don't ever play the same game 2 nights in a row. That's my advice to you. That's my advice for getting through your backlog and keeping yourself from getting stuck on one game forever. So Dominic, as an example, if you play Wizardry one night, you cannot play Wizardry the next night. Find something else to do the next night. And then the night after that, you can go back to Wizardry. So at the very, very least, you'll be alternating between 2 games. But it may also kind of push you to try more stuff in your backlog and find something that you like even more. I think the educated guesswork in needing process of elimination was it. Yeah. Like anything else, it's not gonna hit the same for everyone. Tried uninstalling all my games and only leaving like 5 installed. I should probably do that too. I've got after I take stuff off my lists for like Monday games or Friday games or reviewed stuff, I just kind of let it hang out on my hard drive for a while, and it ends up getting really cluttered after a while. Made some more progress in Sekiro. Congratulations. That's another game I really need to get back to. The oddest, that's the problem. If I switch games, I spend all my time on the second game, wishing I was playing the first game. Well, then you can't play the second game the night after that. You either have to go back to the first game or start up the third game. That's what I'm saying, chat. Don't ever play the same game 2 nights in a row. That one simple rule will help open you up to a wider world of gaming you never thought possible. A little easier to pick between a few options and all the options. God, that's so true. That's so true. I still get those moments of indecision where I'm looking at my library and I'm like, I need to find something new to play. And I can't do it. I just can't do it. I feel fortunate I found Super Hot Mind Control Delete. I'm really glad to be playing that. I disagree! Alright, anyway, let's get back to the reviews. Oh, wait. Before we get back to the reviews, there was another channel point thing I wanted to give y'all. The vote is open. You can vote for what we're going to do in between Final Fantasy Legend 3 and our next big game, whether it be more Game Boy games, more retro FPSs, or test nights. But there's another thing I want to let y'all do, and it's only for tonight. I probably should have started it like an hour ago. But here it is. For 10,000 coins, you can request that I revisit a game that I've reviewed. Something from this list. If you actually want to go in and look at my reviews and pick something out of there, you can do that as well. But since we're doing this, since we're taking the time to go through old games that a lot of you might not have seen or heard of or know much about, if you want me to stream one of them a bit, this isn't a full playthrough, sorry. I can't afford to get another giant unworkable list of games going right now. But yeah, if you would actually like to see Dead Knot in action, if you'd like to see Outland or Out There Somewhere or Year Walk or something else that I'm going to get up to, spend your coins and I will fit it into an indie variety night or a test night or something. Yep, has to be a reviewed game. To be fair though, I reviewed almost 900 games. You got a lot of options here. Super Toy, yeah, you can review something I fucking hated, and I will stream it, and I will explain to you in excruciating detail how much I fucking hate it. I may only play it for like 15 minutes, so if you think that's worth 10,000 Dragon Coins, good on you. Anyway, to get back to the reviews now. Year Walk is one of the games that I reviewed for my very first Spooktober review series. You'll see that I posted this in September of 2015. That's because my first Spooktober review series ran in 2014. And like I said, I started it a ways into October. I actually started it on October 10th and had to... I have a stupid question. Why are they called Dragon Coins? Because, so they're the giant gold coins from Super Mario World, right? In the manual for Super Mario World and also in the Nintendo Power coverage, for whatever reason, they called them Dragon Coin. They're very super obviously Yoshi coin, or at the very least, dinosaur coin. But somehow, I guess the localization got mixed up, and they are officially, for Super Mario World, called Dragon Coin. So, I thought that was really funny. And I thought it kind of fit the theme of the channel, so my pleasure. My pleasure. Not that I need to tell you all this, but this is basically the perfect night to like ask me anything, because we're not on any kind of schedule here. I had absolutely no illusions whatsoever of making it through all 800 some reviews that I've done. This is just something we're doing to look back on the history of gold-plated games, but I'm just as happy to answer any questions that y'all might have about stuff. Why do you dislike you? Why do I dislike you so much? I don't dislike you, Vesty. I don't dislike you at all. I very grudgingly tolerate you. That's a very different thing. How I'm baby made? Tell you when you're older. What's your second favorite pizza? Bacon and onion. There's a thing in Final Fantasy VI that talks about a dragon in a forest that's referring to a Brachiosaurus. It seems as a common translation thing. Ah, yes. I do. Cheers to it. What's your favorite stream drink? I think my favorite stream drink is either Moscato or we've been getting these really fruity wines, like peach wine and watermelon wine lately. I think really light, really sweet wine are my favorite things to drink on stream. I have not had ice wine. I would really like to try it sometime. That's something I'd totally forgotten about. If it was Square Enix, it would be a Dragoon coin, which I think is a synonym. Tend to go for water or coffee on stream. I do water a lot more these days. Basically, if I need to get up tomorrow morning, if I need to get up the next day, I drink water. Because I'm getting old and it's harder for me to stay up late and drink myself to sleep. And it's probably not a very good habit either. So I'm sure y'all noticed I drink a lot more water now than I used to. But tonight's special. And I ain't got shit to do tomorrow, so it was wine for tonight. I'm a rebel, I drink sand while I stream. Doesn't that get everywhere? That's what I love. Specifically, say like sweet wine. Yeah, it's something that I've just never hit upon. I really should. I know I really should. Some middling corn chips with excellent salt conveyors. Might be good with some kind of dip. So yeah, my first Spooktober review series ran in 2014. I only posted those on the Something Awful forum. So in the lead up to my 2015 Spooktober review series, I grabbed those, tweaked them a little bit, and uploaded them to Steam in September of 2015. So we can we'll do a quick little walkthrough of the very first Spooktober. I also had a project back in like 2018 or 2019 to remaster these. To go through all of my original Spooktober reviews and rewrite them. I got through a couple. You can actually see I have a page for Spooky Games Origins on my website that lists all of these, but it's incomplete. That is still something I want to do someday. No, but see, I'm actually improving the quality. I've learned, I've grown, I've matured as a person since initially, right? Anyway, your walk is fantastic, and you should absolutely try it. It's a very simple point-and-click adventure. It's first-person perspective, moving through like what feel like paper dioramas. And it's based in Swedish folklore. And oh my god, do I love horror games that are not that are based in cultures beyond American. There are a couple of these now at this point. There's Year Walk. There's Unforgiving, a Northern Hymn. There's another one, but yeah, there's so much really interesting folklore out there that hasn't really been explored that much in games, and so it almost feels like an easy way to make your game more interesting just by using stuff that has a lot more novelty factor than the stuff that we're used to. Full-time Yakuza dance battle stream from now on. What's up, Ralnivore? What was that Cyber Viking horror game? Apsolov, End of Gods. Made by the same people who made Unforgiving Northern Hymn. That's another fantastic. Not quite full-on horror. It starts to kind of skirt more towards action by the end, but man, it's still just a fucking incredible game that I love. Deadlight. Deadlight is a zombie platformer. You don't play as a zombie. It's kind of like Prince of Persia in a way. Like the controls are very similar to Prince of Persia, but it's you surviving a zombie apocalypse, and it's not very good. It's got, I think, 4 chapters, and they get progressively worse as you go through them. Like the first chapter's pretty decent. It's you like escaping, like I think it's you trying to get out of the city, like going through like the suburbs and the far reaches of the city, and then you end up in the sewers, and the sewers kind of suck. And then you have to go back into the city to like get somebody, and that's when the game really sucks, because then the military gets involved. Not just saying that because I literally just finished Yakuza 5. You liked a lot of it? That's good. Yeah, Deadlight not suggested. Adventures of Shuggy. It's bad. Final Station. Was Final Station wasn't like Prince of Persia. It was a more straightforward platform. No, wasn't Final Station more like a side-scrolling adventure game, kind of, with some very basic gun combat. I love Final Station. I don't think we'll get to the Final Station review tonight, but that was a game that I really enjoyed. I love the atmosphere of that one. Got burnt out on the dance battles. Adventures of Shuggy is a very in terms of narrative theming. No, Deadlight is basically like it's like Side-scrolling platformer version of The Walking Dead, really. I mean, yeah, it looks like this. It plays like, yeah, there you go, Zombie Limbo, or Zombie Inside, except just a super, super straightforward, I would say cliche zombie story. Like, you got your hardened main character making tough choices, and the survivors, they get mercy killed after they get bit, and then the military is the assholes, and blah, blah, blah. There's nothing unique or interesting about it. Adventures of Shuggy. I have a very soft spot in my heart for this game. It's a very simple puzzle platformer, but it has a lot of different gimmicks. And it has 100 single room puzzles to get through. And it gets pretty tricky, but the main thing is it's really cute. It's a really cute, really cozy kind of game. Teach me how to Shuggy. I'm not sure why it's not on sale. Something might have happened to the developer, and they might not have given permission for it to go on sale or something, or they lost permit or something, but yeah, just one of those cute little indie games. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's one that I certainly enjoy. Okay, Alan Wake's American Nightmare. I love Alan Wake. I love the original Alan Wake. I don't love the DLC for it. I tried to go back to it several years ago, I think for another Spooktober review, and play the DLC, and I did not enjoy it at all. American Nightmare is, yes, action Alan Wake. I don't think it's as good as the original Alan Wake. I definitely prefer the heavier emphasis on storytelling and atmosphere that the first one had, even if it did mean a lot of running around in the woods for a couple hours. But American Nightmare is just fun. Like, it definitely does more with the combat and makes it more interesting. And it does continue the story, which is neat to see, because it goes in some directions that I wasn't expecting. Thought American Nightmare was good as long as you think about it as a very different game from the original. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it based on the strengths of Alan Wake. I would recommend it if you wanted better combat than Alan Wake, I guess. If that remaster means they're working on Alan Wake, they announced they're working on Alan Wake 2. They announced Alan Wake 2 at the Game Award. Yeah, it is super definitely happening. They got Max Payne to announce Alan Wake 2. And it's supposed to be more survival horror than the original. Yeah. Dark, scary zoom face. Ah! Terminally distracted during the Game Awards. I mean, you didn't miss that, really. But, yeah. Yep, there's a new Alan Wake coming. Hey, look! It's my review for Infected, the twin vaccine, which is gone from Steam. We streamed this a long time ago. I got a request to do a full playthrough of this that I do intend to fulfill one of these days. But this is a hidden object game that kind of ended up being one of my all-time favorites, just because of how cheesy and weird it is. Because it kind of thematically, it's kind of like, I think it's supposed to be something like Outbreak, where there's this infectious disease is ravaging this small town, and you got to go in and you got to find this kid. But it's got these weirdly Resident Evil trappings to them, and just a really goofy, silly villain in it. Oh, it's still available on Big Fish Games. Definitely check this out if you can. There is a weird puzzle involving a basketball. This was also the game that made me realize that every single hidden object game in existence has to have a crossbow in it. All of them, without exception. Because you need a crossbow in this one, and the thing you need it for is so incredibly dumb. Alright, How to Survive. This game was actually kind of a big deal back in 2013, 2014. It's an ARPG, kind of structured, or gameplay-wise, kind of like Diablo or Titan Quest or that sort of thing, but set up like a survival horror game. Like, you're on an island with a bunch of zombies, and you have to cobble together weapons and armor and make different tools for yourself. But the action is like full-on Diablo style. I wanted to like this game more than I did. The problem is, like, crafting is at the very heart of this game, and it's really kind of annoying. Because you have a very limited inventory, and there's a ton of stuff. There are a ton of materials that you need for crafting, and you don't know what you need beforehand. You don't know up front what it is you should be dragging around the whole time. So as much as I was enjoying the action, like, the crafting system just got really onerous. So don't forget to follow Kovacs rules. Yes, very important. I would still recommend it. I'm sure other people might not find the crafting as annoying as I did, and will get more out of it. They made a sequel to this. You liked How to Survive, you got the 3D version of it, and you hated it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they made a 3D version of this, and I think they made a sequel, but I don't remember hearing a whole lot about it. Every hidden object game has a part where you have to get past a vicious animal by putting sedatives in its food. Yeah. Part of the DNA hidden object games get from text adventures. I think you're right. Oh god, I think I might have streamed part of this too. 1953 KGB Unleashed. It's a first-person point-and-click adventure game where you're stuck in a Soviet bunker. And it starts out with, like, decent atmosphere. I got stuck like 10 minutes in. Because the puzzles in this one are so bad. They are so bad. Yeah, there's not much more to say about this one. I'm honestly kind of surprised I got 5 paragraphs out of this. Okay. Burn Zombie Burn is a dumb little arena zombie fighting game where you have you play as a guy whose hair looks like poop, and you fight zombies, and there's like one interesting mechanic. That's right. You get a melee attack that sets zombies on fire. Every zombie currently on fire adds 1 to your score multiplier, and killing a burning zombie can yield better power-up. That's it. You can set zombies on fire, and you get more points for it. Yeah. Santa Walk is actually a pretty solid tame dance emote. I know we should probably replace that now that we're getting away from Christmas, but I kind of don't want. I kind of love it. It's syncing up with the music. I know I streamed home. Because I had to show y'all how bad this fucking game is. Yeah, this I streamed. This game pissed me off so bad. Because it was posed as like a choose your own adventure sort of thing. Your decisions matter. Your decisions affect the story. I have played through this piece of shit 3 or 4 times. I have never gotten a different ending. Ever. And the story is so bad. It is so dumb. Piss you off by proxy? Yeah. Yeah, this was another indie game that was kind of a big deal when it came out because of that. And because it had the novelty of being... Like, this thing predated Lone Survivor, I think. This was, like, one of the first, like, spoopy pixel art side-scrolling adventure game. So I think it got a lot of attention for that, even though it fucking sucked. God damn it, all this shit is rigged. You never reviewed Transient. I know. Every time Transient comes around in the week-long deals, I keep thinking I'm gonna go back and review it. But honestly, at this point, I've forgotten so many of the specifics. I would need to go back and rewatch my own stream to remind me, and I'm kind of not sure I want to do that. Sometimes seeing you play a bad game is fun. Yeah, that would not so much. Don't think anyone would play it if it came out nowadays. Definitely not. Remember getting different endings in Home, but maybe I'm thinking of something else. It may be that I just didn't... I never figured out what it was I was supposed to do to get different endings. I mean, I will never discount the possibility that I'm just bad at a game. Even if the game itself is also bad. But yeah, I mean, my God, I've given Home 4 hours of my life. It doesn't deserve any more. Your rant at the end of the stream should be good enough. I should just transcribe that as the review, maybe. Huntsman the Orphanage. This is a very generic first-person horror game. You go alone into an abandoned orphanage, and you have to find some knickknacks that belong to the kids. And it's really boring, and it's really hard to find the stuff that you're looking for. The Huntsman's kind of cool looking. It's basically, spoiler alert for Huntsman the Orphanage. It's like the top half of a plague doctor stitched onto a gigantic tarantula. So it's like a spider plague doctor. He's actually pretty cool looking. And when you first see him, he climbs down from the ceiling of the attic. It's actually a pretty neat moment, but he's also kind of stupid. So if you're ever in the mood for a decent horror-ish FPS, what do you have recommend? What do you have in mind, Manic? Transient may be one of the few games that drove all of chat into transcendent rage on your behalf. Transient was incredible. If I could consistently find games like Transient, I would just do that on this channel. I would just devote this channel to confoundingly bad horror games. The problem is 90% of the indie horror garbage out there is just garbage. It's not ambitious, janky shit like Transient. It's just shit. It's boring shit. Have you heard of Wrath, Aeon of Ruin? Yes. You want it for free? I'm getting a lot of mileage of it. I have heard of it, and I would definitely like to play it sometime. So yes, I will keep your recommendation in mind, Manic. I definitely want to stream that sometime. Not garbage enough to be frustrating. Yeah. Nosferatu! We streamed Nosferatu one night. Really cool game. Surprisingly ahead of its time. Horror, FPS, janky combat, pretty bad graphics, but one of the first, if not the first, first-person roguelikes, I think. Pretty neat game. I would definitely suggest giving this one a try. Scary Girl, really boring platformer. Super, super boring. It's just... I think its only claim to fame is that it has kind of a Tim Burton aesthetic to it. Wrath is looking rad. The map-making tool hellhole the devs dug themselves into is pretty hilarious. Oh, is it still in early access because they're trying to make a map tool for players? Alien Breed 2. I got Alien Breed 2 from one of those legendary old Steam summer sales where you could get tickets for getting achievements in games and then turn them in for stuff. And Alien Breed 2 was like an actual game that you could get by getting achievements in other games. But you know what? Kind of sucks. Super boring isometric alien shooter. Like, there are definitely better ones out there now. Oh, they've gone way over the capacity of the old map maker they're using? Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I have no mouth and I must scream. This was being discussed recently, I think. I think someone on Discord was playing it. Holy shit. This game is not for everybody. This game goes to some insanely dark places. This game has some content that a lot of people are not gonna feel comfortable with. I will never, ever stream this game. It is so wrong for our community. Personally, though, on a personal level, I do like this game quite a bit. Talked about, that was it. You bought the physical re-release years ago. Had to rework a ton of stuff, so the dev cycle is taking a lot longer than expected. I have no net and I must stream. That was me for so long. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. There were better top-down alien shooters back then. Very true. One good thing about this game, Harlan Ellison reading AM's rant. I do think some of the scenarios are interesting. It's got some kind of neat puzzles in it. The writing mostly holds up. Eldritch. Oh god, Eldritch is such a neat game. Did I stream Eldritch? I think I might have streamed Eldritch at some point. Yeah, Eldritch is great. Eldritch was an early first-person roguelike, heavily steeped in Lovecraft lore, and just a really neat, really well-structured game with a lot of options on how you can go through it. One of those you didn't stick with? Yeah. It's not the most compelling game, and there's a couple parts in it where people can get really stuck. The end of the second chapter with all the statues, I got stuck in that for the longest time, and I think I might have only beat it on stream, maybe. Made by one of the main Bioshock devs? No way. Really? Yeah, well, it didn't originally have a lot of content. They added 2 additional modes to it. One based on the Mountains of Madness, and one in like an endless asylum. Yeah, it's not just the 3 chapters anymore. There's a whole separate Mountains of Madness chapter with evil penguins. And then there's an endless asylum mode where you kind of have to race the clock to collect stuff. They're both really cool. So yeah, the developers did go back and expand it over the years, which is really neat. This also notably was one of my first big reviews. You can see here, this actually got rated up by 50 different people, which was a big difference, a big change from these earlier reviews that had some of these did okay, 18, 24, but then yeah, 6. Oh, Nosferatu. I think Nosferatu got rated up later over time. Took a long time for me to understand what made certain reviews popular, and I never really did master the system or learn to game it. Though I have had a couple really successful reviews over the year that got me a lot of creation followers, and I learned a lot from that. But I also learned that it was a lot of effort that I kind of didn't want to put in. Hell yeah is an incredibly colorful platformer. Incredibly colorful, incredibly chaotic. I think it's pretty fun. Some people didn't like this game at all. Some people. Yeah, again, it's not for everyone. It's a very straightforward game, and it's also a very busy one. You played Hell Yeah. Also use a word wrong. What did I... Wait. What did I use? What word? Are you telling me I'm not wording correctly? I word just good. You are Ash, the bony lupine... Oh, you're right, aren't you? It's not like he's a professional editor or anything. Fuck. I'll have to go back and fix it. I will make a note of that. Oh, look, it's the path. I fucking hate this game. I hate this game so much. I had a particular hatred for Tale of Tales. The frisky feeling. This game annoyed me so much. So much. Hi, it's me. I'm a guy like that. You're not the only one, obviously. You're not the only one. My problem with this game, my problem with the path, is I really should have seen this. I remember that guy from the Mad Advent calendar. Fuck Tale of Tales twice that much. Morbid curiosity. Okay, we can do this sometime. Here's the deal with the path. That was the day that Manic was banned forever. The path is basically a take on Little Red Riding Hood. You play as Little Red Riding Hood. There is a path to Grandma's house. The game tells you, don't stray from the path, right? Just on the most basic level. You start the game tells you, don't stray from the path. If you don't stray from the path, the game tells you failed. There's really no more context to it than that. The game starts with the instruction, don't stray from the path. If you don't stray from the path, when you get to the end of the game, Grandma's house, the game gives you a failure state. You're a nitwit, of course you're supposed to stray from the path. That's not what the game tells you. And there is zero context, absolutely no context whatsoever to tell you otherwise. Of course, once you get that once, then you load back in, then you stray from the path, and you find a bunch of stuff all around, scattered whatever, and then you go back to the house, and then you get the same failure state. So, ultimately, it doesn't matter that they lied to you in the beginning of the game. It doesn't matter that they didn't properly set expectations. End of the game, you mean like 2 minutes from the beginning? Yeah. That's the end of that game experience. I mean, you can always go back in and do it again, but the end of the path is when you get to the end of the path. The peak of the path are the collectibles that literally do nothing. The developers are super coy about it. I don't really consider it a failure state. I'm pretty sure it says something to the effect that you failed. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I know the impression that I got from it. Like, there's a bunch of, like, ratings and stuff, and it tells you, like, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't get this, nothing happened, yeah. Can I reverse my redemption, because that doesn't even sound entertainingly bad? Just this once, because I really genuinely don't want to play this game. I will let you have that one back. Yeah, I will make the same concession that I always make. If this game worked for you, if you got something out of this, that's great. That's great. Like, there is nothing wrong from being able to enjoy or appreciate or get some message out of a game. I am saying that for me, this game did nothing but piss me off. And I don't think there's anything more there than the things that piss me off. If you found more than that, great. That's great, but I'm not convinced it's that. I was just gonna mark it as complete and say refine. Ooh, oof. There's a recent video essay on the game that gives a good overview of it, gave me a bit more of an appreciation for it. No, fuck you, Honest, I'm right, you're wrong. Tales of Tales is still Tales, well, was, past tense. Because they are no longer making games. The Tale of Tales meltdown kind of said it all. But yeah, I had a very specific, particular problem with the way this game was structured. I don't like the way it presented itself. I don't like the way it presented its mechanics, its structure. And when I did start playing by its unspoken rules, I still didn't find it interesting or meaningful at all. It didn't work. I don't know what Tales of Tales is. They were a developer of exceedingly avant-garde game. And I don't think they really accomplished much with them. I maybe... It's hard to say. I mentioned in a recent review, I don't like calling things pretentious. I don't like writing anything off as pretentious, because it could just be a case of me not picking up on what other people have picked up on. Tale of Tales is about as close as you can get to getting me to calling you pretentious. That is as close as I will ever come. I still don't want to. I feel like maybe they had something that they were trying to achieve that they just didn't achieve. But man, I mean, that should give you some idea of the kind of game that we're talking about here, and it is that to a T. It is the very pinnacle of that kind of artsy game. Should be known that achieving what you want to achieve doesn't implicitly make your content good either. Also very true. That is also a very good point. Which one was it? Was it Serious Sam 3 that I still haven't played Serious Sam 3, but like the early stages of Serious Sam 3 are like a very straightforward like mill shooter kind of thing, and didn't they say like it was supposed to be lampooning the concept of like modern FPSs? But, like, that didn't make it suck any less or any less disappointing to people who want to be playing a fucking Serious Sam game in their Serious Sam game. So, yeah. Kind of perfect example there. Like, you may have an idea and you may set out to achieve it. You may achieve it. And that might be what sucks about it. That was a lie, too, because it's literally them recycling assets from a canceled project. Ooh, okay. Well, that just feels like making it twice as worse for themselves. Path is one of their better games too, and one of the least pretentious. They had the game where you're flying through a giant multicolored vagina. I remember that one. I remember playing that one. What was that one called? Actually, I don't care. Games can be art, I accept this. There's a big difference between a game that is art and a game that tries to be art. Well, I'm of the opinion that all games are art. And the games like this are exceptionally bad art. Luxurious Superbia, that was it. Yep. Sounds like Duke Nukem Forever, which tried to rag on Halo and other games. But they jacked it in. You played Sunset too? Did I? I have no memory of this. Moving on, at long last. Ghostmaster. Ghostmaster's a really neat little game. You might want to give a try if you haven't yet. But Ghostmaster is basically The Sims, except you exclusively control ghosts who are tormenting your Sims. It's a really neat little puzzle game where you're trying to haunt people out of their home. And it's got some pretty neat mechanics. And some cool secrets like finding hidden ghosts and stuff. Found something weirdly fascinating about the graveyard. It felt like a really weird troll. That one I actually wanted to try. That was before I knew who Tale was. And it always sounded like an interesting concept. But yeah, in retrospect, probably just as well. Fun part is once you get artsy enough, it doesn't matter whether or not you as a player liked it, because that's the point. Yeah. Yep. But that also seems like a very dangerous path to tread, where you're just kind of like writing off the response to your game as like, I don't know, it's almost like the game dev version of the Puppet Master defense. It's just it feels to me like it kind of betrays the very concept of games in general. Like, I don't know. I guess you can have different concepts for what you want players to experience. And it's such a complicated topic. Dangerous path, you might say. I like the Chinese room for my pretentious art games. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there, don't worry. Oh, right now, in fact. So yeah, I took it upon myself to review Amnesia and Amnesia: The Dark Descent. For my first Spooktober, though, I will admit I hadn't played all the way through them when I did. I was such an antsy person at this point in my life that I don't think I got more than like an hour or two into either one of them before punching out. So, but I did go back. As you can see, I did go back and remaster both of these reviews after we streamed. So I did eventually redeem myself. Hi, it's me, the guy who liked Amnesia Machine for Pigs. I mean, here you go. I have written a fucking essay on why I don't like A Machine for Pigs, and we talked about it extensively when we streamed it. Amnesia actually made you physically ill because of the camera. It's brutal. That's definitely the worst part about the original Amnesia: The Dark Descent, are those fucking camera effects. And I'm really, really glad they backed off of those for Soma and Amnesia Rebirth. Because, yeah, they are nauseating, headache-inducing. Did you like... Oh, that's a good question. Did you like A Machine for Pigs better than The Path? It could be a smooch fight. It absolutely... Are the later ones better? Okay, so... Frictional games... Let's take a look at the Frictional catalog real quick. Let's talk about it. Alright, so... Oh. Okay, close enough. Frictional has put out 6 games so far. They've made 5 of them. A Machine for Pigs was not made by Frictional themselves. It was licensed out to the Chinese and Frictional published. Penumbra Black Plague, we streamed this past October. And you can kind of see the DNA of the whole first-person horror thing that they got into. Neat game, awkward to play, story and atmosphere are quite good. Penumbra Overture is the second half of that. We haven't played it yet, but we will. We will. Enough people enjoyed Black Plague that we will get to. Oh my god, they're listed backwards. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you, Smokey. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, we did Overture. Yeah, for some reason, this is the 2007 one. This is the 2009 one. Yeah. Come on. Normally this list is in chronological order. So, and I don't know how you expect me to remember the difference between Overture and Black Plague. They're not very descriptive titles for their respective games. So everything I just said applies to Overture. Black Plague is the second half of that story we will get to eventually. So, Amnesia the Dark Descent was like a refinement of that. It's definitely more playable than both. Has a much more intense atmosphere, a more complicated story. I still think Amnesia the Dark Descent holds up. It's certainly looking dated at this point, and if you start getting into the mechanics of how the enemies work, you can spoil a lot of the horror for yourself. But I do think it holds up. It's just visually, the sanity effects that they used in that game are a lot. They're a lot to deal with. So if you can get past that, I still think it's a great game. Amnesia Machine for Pigs is not. It sucks. Soma is a further distillation of everything that they were doing in first-person horror, with, I think, one of the most powerful themes that has yet been explored in horror games. Soma is probably my all-time favorite horror game. I have yet to come across another horror game that has impressed me on as many levels as Soma did. It is beautiful, it is terrifying, it is meaningful, and it has stuck with me for literal years. Soma's your favorite too? Built tension so well you couldn't play. Yes. There is... even knowing everything about Soma now, there's at least one part of Soma that I really don't want to go back to. It is absolutely brutal on your nerve. Amnesia Rebirth, we streamed that when it came out. I think it's a worthy successor to Amnesia The Dark Descent. It's not as consistently oppressive as Dark Descent is. It leans further into story and more. It feels more of an adventure game than a straight horror game. It has some very intense horror segments in it, but The Dark Descent felt like horror the entire way through. Say it again, I loved watching you play A Machine for Pigs. A Machine for Pigs could have been good. I think that's the big thing about it. A Machine for Pigs was very, very close to being good. But it has absolutely critical problems with its story. And once you realize that there are basically no enemies in the game, it sucks a lot of the time. And I don't feel bad telling anybody who hasn't played it that, because it's honestly something you need to know going. Because otherwise you're just going to be disappointed at some point. Thought the story was fine, I had problems with the lack of threat. Dug the story and atmosphere, and maybe not struggling with playing it made the difference. Probably, yeah. I mean, the story can certainly hit different for different people. One problem. Okay, we're gonna get a bit spoilery about the story for A Machine for Pigs, so you might want to. I don't know if you really care at this point about a game that came out 8 years ago. Whatever. I think I've gotten too tired. I've been tired. I have been tired of the "you are the monsters" trope. I don't care. I don't like it. I don't think it's interesting or clever anymore. And A Machine for Pigs was not the first one to use it. It was not groundbreaking when it did use it. I mean, for Christ's sakes, The Dark Descent used the same trope. But A Machine for Pigs specifically made your character so cartoonishly evil and stupid in how he executed it, I could not take it seriously. I love some of the concept. The final sequence in A Machine for Pigs is legitimately very, very cool. When you actually get to see what the heart of the machine is, I legitimately love that moment. And Machine for Pigs has a couple of those moments throughout. But the story that's attached to it, I can't deal with just how much of an unredeemable shithead your character is. I had the same problem with what's that stupid game called? Layers of Fear. Bloober Team, Layers of Fear, where you are the evil painter man. What you learn about these characters as you go through is so appalling and so terrible and so inexcusable that by the end, I just want them to die. As far as I'm concerned, Amnesia's greatest contribution is giving us the Amnesia in X for Y meme format. Collect 15 brains to unlock the heart of the machine. Yeah, oh, Bloober Team. It seems like Bloober Team has had exactly one good game at this point, and that was the Cyberpunk one. Was that Observer? Because I know there's Observation, which I'm supposed to play sometime. I think it was Observer. If I remember correctly. Sure. Yeah, okay, Observer, yeah. I like that game. Yeah, the one. Yeah, that's it. The one with Rutger Hauer. Yeah, I legitimately like that game. I think that one's good. They toned back the jump scares and loud screamy stuff just enough for me. And what they did have, I thought, fit with the cyberpunk theme and framing. I hate Layers of Fear. I hate Layers of Fear like I hate Machine for Pigs. Just because I can't do it anymore. I cannot do the You Are the Monsters games anymore. They're just too cliche for me. I don't want to be the monster. I don't want to be the bad guy. Do you know what I want? Do you know what I want from my horror game? I want a fucking monster to run from. I want to be a person who is just doing their thing, and there is a scary monster, and I run from the monster. That's literally all I want. I don't want to be the monster. I don't want to make the monster. I don't want to be the chosen one who has to banish the monster. I want to be a guy chased by a monster. This is why Silent Hill 1 is my favorite. Because Harry Mason is just a guy. He ended up in the wrong place, in the wrong town, and now he's in scary, rusty chain link hell. He didn't deserve that. He didn't ask for that. He wasn't the chosen one. He didn't murder his wife. He just ended up there. And to me, that's the horror that actually means something. Because that's about as close as you get to actual horror. Bad things happening to people who didn't deserve it. That's life. Time for more dumpster diving to Slenderman games. No, all those people deserve it. What if you're a monster just doing your thing and you have to run from the scary human? I will also accept that. Never much for the Harry Potter school of character design. The menu in System Shock 2 is great for horror. You're running afraid from the game design. You're running in horror from the level itself. Yeah. I don't know. There was a time when I was more impressed with clever twists in games where, oh my god, it's a prison of our own design. It's mental torture because we're the bad guy. Oh no, we have murdered a family member and now we're in purgatory for that. Oh no, the monster is a projection of our psyche. Oh, I'm over all that shit. I'm over all that shit because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any bearing on our lives. I know you're trying to be all clever and symbolic about it, but people who are tortured by their decisions in life are not conjuring shadow beasts to chase them around their house and scare them through windows and stuff. That's not how grief and fear work. I don't give a shit anymore. I want people to be chased by scary things they don't understand and they can't explain, because that's legitimately scary. What if I go out of my room tonight after my stream and there's some shadow thing just standing in my living room? That's fucking scary. It's not scary if I was an awful person and just imagined it in my brain. That's fucking stupid. But if there's some unexplained shadow beast out there that I then have to deal with for whatever reason, or maybe I'll never know why, that's part of the horror. The unknown. And I'm so pissed that the horror genre has moved so far away from that it's so hard to find a game where spoopy shit just happens. Oh, call your kids shadow things. Yeah, if I just happen to be an awful person, that should be a coincidence, not the point. You love Outlast then? I actually do have a positive review of Outlast in. I do actually like Outlast. I can overlook the fact that your dumbass character brings it on themselves by going into a supposedly unused asylum by themselves. because shit goes haywire once they're in there. Smite is almost at 12 hours on his stream today. I was watching him right up until we started the stream. I am fucking loving his Mega Man damage shuffler stream. I legit, I honestly want to give that a try. Not to the degree that he has, but I kind of want to give it a try if it wouldn't seem like too much of a ripoff. Yeah, I cannot believe, like, he has gotten nowhere in Minus Infinity. He's beaten, like, what, 2 bosses? He's gonna be stuck on that for all eternity. And that's not even the worst one. Even more interesting, the protagonist, the average Joe, coming face to face with the horror reveals he was always an awful person deep down, brings that out. Everyone thinks they're basically okay until after they trip their buddy, escape the monster. You want to be original, do a Castlevania damage shuffler. Does that exist? That would also be super fun. Alright, Lone Survivor. Lone Survivor was another early side-scrolling, pixely survival horror adventure game. This one I like conditionally. This one trades a lot on its atmosphere. The gameplay is pretty rough. Because there is some necessary combat in this, and it's really awkward, and some of the later areas are laid out in really annoying ways. But man, this game looks and sounds fantastic. Guessing it's just as easy or hard to set up as it would be for Mega Man. I don't think... I thought the whole damage shuffler thing was specific to Mega Man. Like, I thought it was coded specifically for Mega Man games. I have no idea how it works. Recently played through all 3 GBA Castlevanias. Nice. You too. Nice. Very nice. I'd like Lone Survivor more. The Dead would implement proper controls and controller support. Yeah, that's the other thing. The controls are not great. All 3 are good and all 3 are annoying in their own distinct ways. I can definitely understand that for Circle and Harmony. I think Aria is about as close to a perfect Castlevania as it gets, personally. Even Aria is a bit weird in spots. I guess eventually I'm going to revisit them. Maybe I'll feel different about it now than I did. But Aria is definitely my favorite Castlevania ever. Pretty sure it's reading the bits for damage in the games like how Game Shark code would. I have zero clue how it's programmed though. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if it would work for games outside of Mega Man. If it would work for Castlevania. Mario. Aria is very good, but figure out which 3 spirits to equip or get the bad ending is obnoxious. There are clues for that, aren't there? I'm pretty sure they tell you which 3 spirits it is. Okay, I don't remember what the clues are like, so yeah, they may be vague. I don't remember, so I can't comment on that. I know I figured it out, but yeah, we'll see when we revisit it, because I have no idea which three spirits it is for the ending. So we'll see if I can figure it out when we play it. Don't see why not. Just need to find the bits that changes when you take a hit. I would have no idea how to do it. Hey look, Paranormal State, Poison Spring. One of my most unexpectedly favorite hidden object games because it's based on an absolutely fucking terrible, I think, A&E TV series? Where some smarmy looking douchebag and his friends go pretending to look for ghosts. But you know what? They made a legitimately great hidden object game out of it. Third one especially is incredibly big. We'll see. We will revisit it someday. So, if you want a pretty full-featured hidden object game, with some scenes that are gonna make you laugh at how like kitschy and bizarre they are. This will do the trick. We tested hidden object games at one point. Interesting, to hit. Evil Pumpkin was another one I wanted. Evil Pumpkin was gifted to me, I think, while I was doing my first Spooktober review series. I think Farta Presto, a rather famous Something Awful poster, gifted me this. Unfortunately, it didn't work for me. Unfortunately, it was super janky and didn't work so well. And when it did work well, the puzzles were all kinds of a mess. So I couldn't give this one a positive review. Ooh. Okay. How many of you know of Betrayer? How many of you have heard of this game? You do? Okay. Okay, it's not just me. This game, I feel, was like way ahead of its time. This one's really, really interesting. Betrayer is a first-person action-adventure game that takes you to the new world at the turn of the 17th century. The year is 1604. You sailed from England expecting to join a struggling colony on the east coast of Virginia. Instead, you find only ghosts and mysteries. It's interesting that they're showing this in full color because by default, the game is in black and white. At Betrayer, I want to like it. I was awful at, could never get momentum going in a game. It's a very difficult game to get going in. But holy shit, the atmosphere in this game is top notch, and the mystery is really, really cool. It is a really, really interesting game. Huh. At the request of the publisher, Betrayer is no longer available for sale on Steam. I did not know that. When was this delisted? I've never streamed this game. I have never once streamed this game. I would kind of like to. This is the only thing this developer made, too. Well, I would love to recommend it to y'all, but it's not available anymore. So we could play it sometime. Yeah, I'm super glad I grabbed it when I did. But yeah, this is a game that has stuck with me for a long time because it's so visually striking and the atmosphere is so good. Gameplay can get a little annoying. It can get a little repetitive with the way combat works because it being set in like the 17th century, you've got like flintlock weapons that take forever to reload. Oregon Trail. Get it? It's like Oregon Trail. This is actually a really good game. It's a really, really solid take on the Oregon Trail formula. When do you get the BFG? I don't think I got far enough to get. I'd be buried in a shallow grave along with some other stuff. But yeah, if you need a spicier take on Oregon Trail, this one will definitely do the trick. And I think they added some content to it after I played it way back in the day too. All still separate. Man. Okay, so I think we may be just about through the. We got a few more reviews from the original Spooktober series, and then I think I just shotgunned out a bunch of reviews, a bunch of other reviews onto Steam before my second Spooktober started. Picked up Hex and Heretic recently, gave it a spin. The controls are ass with no non-ass options. Same for running in windowed mode. Every once in a while, I think to myself that I want to go back and play Heretic again. The problem with Heretic is that the enemies are so bullet spongy compared to Doom. It takes so long to take shit down. Yeah, you could always source port them. That would greatly improve the situation. source port is practically required. Yeah, Manic, try grabbing something like GZ Doom and loading it up in there, because that'll let you customize all your control and visual options. Let's make a whole ton of enemies be able to turn themselves invincible. Great idea. Yeah. Pyro. Pyro is a really interesting little game. There are a number of games on Steam that are kind of like just kind of like surrealist architecture and landscapes. And Cairo is one of the early ones of that. It's a bunch of very impressionistic locales with puzzles to solve in them. Some of them pretty simple, some of them really complicated. Again, this is another game that basically got by on its atmosphere for me. I never did puzzle out what this game means or what it's trying to say, but just being in it, just the experience of being in its environments, I found very interesting. Imagine a Mario game where the enemies can also collect the pallets. Adam Zombie Smasher. I remember this elicited a lot of discussion when I posted this review, because most people like Adam Zombie Smasher. I do not. It's got a really cool style to it. I don't even know how to really describe the presentation. But I don't know if y'all remember, but way back, there was this like online Flash project. It was like a zombie infection simulator where it was like a gray cityscape where the buildings were just like just a bunch of gray shapes, and then you had a bunch of dots running around, and the dots were people. And then you'd have one dot turn into a zombie, like either bright green or bright red or whatever. And then when that dot would touch other dots, they would turn into zombies. And it would spread like that, and you could see how like the simulated zombie spread would go. And then there was a further iteration of that where you had the ability to like drop bomb on them to see if you could limit the spread of the infection. Well, I remember that's also great to see our current pandemic happen. Adam Zombie Smasher took that a step further and put it on a campaign map. You basically had a campaign where you would deploy different units to locations around the United States. And then you would have to save as many people as possible in each city. And each of the units that you deployed had different capabilities. You had like artillery units that could fire on zombies. You had like infantry units that could man fortifications and block off streets and stuff. Big Same Adam Zombie Smash was a neat game held back by frustration. Yes. There's a huge problem with Adam Zombie Smasher, and it's that it's designed so that you will fail the first time you play it. Because the unlocks in it are persistent, and a lot of the game's pacing and mechanics aren't very well explained up front. I think the game expects you to pick them up over the course of several runs, and I was not there for that. I did not have the patience for that. So, it's also a very difficult game. Like, some of the scenarios are really hard to win, even if you bring the right units. If you bring the wrong units, you're just screwed. So it's a very loosely designed, fly by its pants kind of game. That a lot of people were able to find the fun in, and I couldn't. Yes, exactly. It has that XCOM failure spiral thing going. Not for me. Alright, this is probably one of the longest reviews I've ever written, and it's for a game called Ghost Ship Aftermath. I'm not even sure if this game still exists. Okay, it does. It does. And it seems like this guy released a game in 2020 as well. Well, good on him for trying to at least refine the concept. This was, at the time, one of the most ambitious games I had ever seen. Yeah, apparently it's a trilogy now. Basically, one guy made his own version of Aliens. He modeled an entire, like, spaceship, like, big-ass spaceship. All the decks, all the utility hatches and tunnels and interfaces and stuff. And you had to go in there and you had to, like, solve the mystery of what was going on and stuff. It was so goddamn janky because it was one guy hacking this together in the days before... Yeah, he modeled a ghost ship. You know, this was in the days before Unity or other FPS creator. All the tools that make, like, one-person development even feasible. So... kudos to this guy for all the effort he put in and the ambition he showed, but ultimately it did not make for a fun game. Just everything about it is just a huge drag. Like the movement mechanics, the exploration, the pacing, the enemy, everything. I believe this is the game that's text scrolling the wrong way on the screens. Yep. It is sadly a big mess. I would actually be curious to know if his subsequent games improve on that very much. Okay, but yeah. So that was my original spooky game series. That was what pretty much started it all. That inspired me to go on and continue reviewing and work on my own style of reviews. Because I have a bunch more here, like Sir, You're Being Hunted, Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015, Weird Park Trilogy, I love Mercenary Kings. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. Yeah, a bunch of other games that I slapped up reviews of in between reposting my original spooky game series and launching into the second. So we may have some time to talk about more of these, but since it's getting late in the evening, there was one more topic that I wanted to broach with y'all, those of you that have managed to stay awake this long. And it's the same topic that I introduced in my anniversary website post today and also highlighted on Discord. But I'll break it down for y'all here. I've been thinking about a lot of things about this channel over the past couple of months because I've been paying a bit more attention to the metrics. I've been looking over viewership and growth and all of that. And things are great right now. I will lead with that. This channel is doing about as well as it ever has. I decided to make it pay to view. You don't mind, right? And year over year, the community has grown. Viewership has been going up. But Eva called it, but very, very slow. I'd say at this point we tie on maybe 2 or 3 average viewers per year, which there is nothing wrong with that. I'm very thankful that we do have a healthy and growing channel. But at that pace, this is pretty much what we're going to be doing forever. That's not a pace that's going to ever, like, we'll never get to partner at that pace or anything like that. So and I've been thinking about that, partly in how much I'm concerned about that, if that's even something that I'm really worried about, but also if I am, what it is I can do about that. To collab with Dr. Disrespect. So I've been thinking about things that I can do that may help growth here. Every streamer I've ever seen try to go for partner goes to shit. They become more focused on their stats they do on being a good streamer. I'm not particularly concerned about that. I'm not worried about getting my priorities out of whack, because I am less concerned with that than I was when I got started. I actually used to be more worried about viewership. I used to watch, actually, on my dashboard here. I used to watch the viewer counts while I was streaming. And a year or two ago, I stopped doing that. I took that out. I took that off of my dashboard because I was just psyching myself out with it. So yeah, I'm not of a mind to make any. I'm not of a mind to do anything that I wouldn't be happy with for the sake of growing this channel. Your time slot murders me. I love your streams. You started like, oh, Mr. 90-Bit Business. You probably missed it. That is actually one thing that I am going to change. Starting this Saturday, January 1st, I'm moving my streams back an hour. So instead of starting at 10 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to start at 9 p.m. So that'll at least help a little bit. I'm afraid that's as far as I can take it, but it's an adjustment that should help at least a little bit. An hour is still an hour. So that's one thing I want to do. Another thing I want to do is just general, like, quality improvement. There are a lot of things that, yeah, I know it's been rough for a lot of people. There was a noticeable drop in viewership in November when the clocks changed for daylight savings. And we've recovered pretty well since then. I think part of that is because people have probably had more free time and time off during December for the holidays, but it's also a burden I want to take off viewers and myself, because as I get older, it's harder to stay up later and later. Take any happy news, the chance to see more live. Well, good, glad. But yeah, I want to make some quality improvements. I've been trying to seriously educate myself on the more technical aspects of streaming, because I know my recording quality can be improved. Like specifically my audio recording. There are some tweaks that I know I can make to some of my like retro recordings that I hope improve the quality. Probably miss a very beginning of the streams. That's okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, if nothing else, it'll make it easier to stay later for them too. So, there's some other things that I've considered, other improvements to make. But one big thing that I've been thinking about, is the fact that variety streaming in general, doesn't do as well on Twitch as more focused stream. There are exceptions to this, of course. There are channels that do very well with variety. There are channels that have always done variety and have managed to grow well off of that. But in general, channels that focus on a single game or a single genre tend to grow faster, because it's easier for them to build communities and tap into existing communities. And I feel like logically that makes sense, because if you compare Twitch to other kinds of media, other kinds of entertainment, like a TV show, if you're tuning in every week to something like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or whatever, you're going to be kind of put off if some nights it's suddenly a musical, or some nights it's suddenly like a puppet show, or it's a slapstick comedy or something like that. Like, people, it seems like in general people tune in to see a specific sort of thing. And channels that are streaming the same kind of game, or at least the same genre every night, they build communities around that because people are coming to see the same night. Y'all are coming up with some excellent ideas. I am definitely writing all these down. I'm weird. The variety is why I love Space Dandy. I mean, there are, of course, people that appreciate variety. namely most of the people that show up to my stream, because I have taken variety to something of an extreme. For the longest time, I was basically alternating stream. I would not do the same kind of thing 2 nights in a row. And that got us this far, you know? So I can't say it didn't work for us. It did, certainly. We've built an amazing community here with all y'all that is continuing to grow. So it certainly wasn't a mistake to do it. But I have considered the possibility that if I narrowed the focus of this channel a bit, it may mean greater growth. And it may mean growing our community more quickly. So right now, we basically do 2 kinds of things. We do indie games and we do retro games. And before I adjusted the schedule again a week or 2 ago, last week, was it just last week? We had been alternating. Monday, Wednesday, Friday was indie stuff. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday was retro stuff. Now we've kind of streamlined that, where we have a 4-day block where we're basically doing the same kind of thing thematically. And then indie variety night on Friday and power hours on Saturday. So I've been wondering if it would make more sense to narrow the focus of this channel to just indie or just retro. And that's mainly speaking to the 4 days, Monday to Thursday. I don't ever want to get rid of indie variety night, and I don't ever want to get rid of the power hour. Those to me are locks. They're too popular. People like them too much. I like them too much. And, you know, either way we go, that would still only be 1 night out of theme for us. So I don't think there's any issue with keeping both of those. So, okay, Manic, you might have missed it when I said it on Discord. This is not something that I'm going to change anytime soon. Unlike most of the changes I make, I haven't even decided if this is something that I wanted. There are 2 big questions here, and the first is, do I even want to do this? Because I haven't resolved to do anything. I really like what we do right now. I really like playing indie games. I really like playing retro games. I really like having the freedom to swap between them whenever I want. There's also the possibility that just the simple schedule change we made recently, of doing 1 game at a time Monday to Thursday, may be enough. That actually may be enough to help viewership grow fast. In which case, I don't need to change anything else on it. But that is something that I'm considering for myself. I don't know that this is a change that I want to make. And that's something that I'm not going to decide that tonight or tomorrow or next week or next month. That's like a project for 2022 to make that determination. So focusing on one or the other might lose some part of your established audience that likes one you cut, that likes having it. That's definitely a risk. That is absolutely a risk. I know that there are people that greatly prefer one over the other. Okay. Which option gets you to play Tech War? Retro. I mean, it's a pretty simple answer, I think. I would consider that old over indie. There's nothing indie about William Shatner. Are you kidding? But yes, the aspect of this that y'all can help me with is figuring out if I did want to narrow focus, which way should I go? And we had a lot of really good feedback in Discord about this. Some people are definitely more interested in seeing indie games more consistently. Some people are more interested in seeing retro games consistently. So this is one of the discussions that I want to have tonight. It's something that I'm sure we're going to continue to discuss over time. It's not going to affect what we do in the short or long term. Like the vote that I opened up tonight between Game Boy games, retro FPS games, or test nights, I'm not reading anything out of it. I want to do whatever y'all feel like doing. This isn't going to change the next big game that we're playing, or probably the games after that. So, but yeah, over the course of 2022, I need to decide if narrowing the scope of this channel is something that I want to do, and I need to get a feel for what people would prefer if I did. Indie Guy, those two choices for certain. It's good to know. That is good to know. I think you should ask Sweet Delicious Mountain Dew for sponsorship. I don't even like Mountain Dew. Are you kidding? I wonder if I could get a wine company to sponsor me. That'd be pretty cool. It doesn't actually seem like there are so many companies on Twitch that do sponsorships. And it tends to be like stuff like companies that mail you shit, like prepackaged meals or like grooming tools or something. Nowadays, G Fuel is a pro move. Narrow the scope to only games that have gold or GP as a currency. Doing lines of G Fuel before. What's up, guys? It's your boy Oddish. I'm sure that's the content that y'all crave. Chili dogs. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question now, because I feel like for the past couple of years, streaming, there was always something that I wasn't sure about. I either wasn't sure about what games I should be streaming, or when I should be streaming them, or like what format I should be streaming them in. And I feel like over the past year, over the course of 2021, I kind of nailed things down. I figured out what the most popular content on this channel is. I figured out what kinds of streams people like, and I did narrow down the kinds of games that we should be playing. Like, I don't have any real clear delineations that I can give you, but it's definitely easier now for me to look at a game and be like, yeah, I can't stream this. Or look at something and be like, yeah, this has potential. So now it's like I've arrived at a place that I'm really happy with and I'm really comfortable with. And it's a question of do I need to do more? Like, do I want to pursue growth enough to change things beyond that? So, chili dog flavored G. Y'all are just getting gross now. Y'all are just getting nasty. Chili dog G Fuel already exists. How about hot dogs boiled in chili dog G Fuel topped with chili dog G Fuel infused chili? I can't even parse that sentence. It's like brain chaff. Nobody's gonna pass that clip around. Nobody's gonna want to admit that that's the person you spend every night watching. Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, I have a lot of questions, a lot of thoughts going into 2022. So a lot of them I'm not going to be changing stuff quite as breakneck as I have in the past. Like we did just change the schedule. We're changing the schedule again to move everything back an hour. But I definitely want to see how this goes for a while before doing anything else. Make that clip viral. So yeah. Well, I think that hit upon all the important topics that I wanted to hit upon. And I feel like in terms of the review retrospective, probably a good place to stop as well before we get into the next Spooktober series. I gotta ask. I'm curious. How did y'all enjoy tonight's stream? How did you feel about this in relation to other streams? Because we've never done a just chatting stream like this. Almost 4, have to head off. Have a wonderful day. You too, Mr. Nunubis. It was great to see you. I'm glad you can make it out for this. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. I enjoy. Because, I mean, as far as revisiting old reviews and talking about lost and forgotten games, like, I don't think I will ever run out of them to talk about. Nice change of pace for an anniversary stream. Interesting. Don't know if I'd recommend these with much frequency. Yeah, I wouldn't plan on doing these very frequently. But it's good to know that for an anniversary. Like I said earlier in the stream, I was thinking about maybe for the channel anniversary in August, maybe looking through, revisiting some old stream VODs from YouTube and seeing how much things have changed. Good watching your face when you thought you'd have to play the path again. See, even on just chatting nights, there's going to be ways to torment me. Ways to make me fear for my sanity. So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed this. I definitely enjoyed the opportunity to just sit down and talk about stuff as it came to me. And also look through some of these old reviews, because I don't do this very often. And some of these games I've definitely forgotten about and want to revisit in one format or another. I'm gonna do something different for my birthday stream coming up. We won't be doing any chatting or retrospective for that. I've got an idea. I don't know if I'm gonna be ready by then. So I'm gonna need to come up with something. Because my birthday is actually... Who remembers when my birthday is? I'm testing you, chat. Someone in chat needs to remember when my birthday is. I will be very hurt and upset, and I might cry on stream. January 69th. It's in a month? It's in January. Definitely in January. Yeah, spoiler alert. January. I do believe it's tonight. Happy birthday, Oddish. 16th? Not quite. Shares a number with today's date. Mom drill Samba. Never heard of it. January 19th. Good, I don't have to age anymore. God, I've had enough of this shit. January 7th. Mark your calendars. January 7th. It's gonna be a 1 week from this Friday. Is gonna be my birthday stream. And I think I know what we'll do for that, but there's actually a fair bit of work I need to put in before then if I'm gonna make it happen. Don't get too excited. It's something that appeals to me, and I'm not sure how many other people, but it's my fucking birthday and I can do what I want. 24-hour stream, 48-hour stream, cosplay stream. Jesus Christ. What birthday themed games can we make him play? Hot tub stream. Jesus Christ. Oh. Maid stream. You know what? No, I rescind the question. I don't want to know. VTuber debut. I think VTubing is cool, but I can guarantee you I will never do VTubing. It's just not my style. I enjoy emoting too much. Gold-plated stream? Aren't they all gold-plated streams? Isn't this whole channel just wreathed in gold from head to toe? We'll cover... Oh, literally. Cover himself in liquid gold. Oddish is a cute anime maid girl. That's a bridge too far. That's never fucking happening. You can be assured of that. It'd be different. Oh my Okay, y'all are getting weird and gross, so I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Let's talk about the schedule real quick. Coming up. Oh yeah, we need to get the fuck out of here. We need to eject immediately. All right, tomorrow night we are back on Final Fantasy Legend 3, and that is our mission for the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if we need it. All Final Fantasy Legend 3. If we finish early, if we finish tomorrow or Wednesday night, the extra nights will be test nights. I got a big list, checked it twice. I don't know which games are naughty or nice, so we'll just have to test them out. No stream this Friday. I know that is an odd turn for us, but it is New Year's Eve, and I always stay up with my kids on New Year's Eve, so family obligations there. But we will have a brand spanking new Power Hours on January the 1st, and that'll be our first stream pulled back to a 9 p.m. start. So mark your calendars. You don't want to show up late for that one. God knows what other bullshit you can get me to play that night. I'm not playing Scrabble again. Don't even think that. Or the Immortal. Veto on both of those. So. Anyway, gang, let me find somebody for y'all to raid, and we will call that an anniversary. How about... I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna send you over to Smite. I love Smite's damage shuffler so much. Let's go give him some support. He needs all he can get, I think. Anyway, gang, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for joining me for this very special anniversary stream. I have been doing reviews and streams for 6 years now. And the only way I've been able to do that is because I have the support of folks like you who will actually come out and read my bullshit and watch me play games badly and come back again and again because it's fun again. It's certainly fun for me, and hopefully it's fun for you. So I just want you all to know how much I appreciate you taking the time out of your lives to spend it with me. Yeah, this has meant a lot to me. Everything gold-plated games has meant a lot to me, and it's only possible because folks like you support me. So, from the very bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being here and joining me on this journey that we are still in the midst of. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow night for some more Final Fantasy Legend 3. Until then, as always, y'all take care. Bye, everybody.